speaking of video game history and Space Invaders being the most important video game ever, bar none. Inside joke again. The National...
I love you, Norm.
The National Video Game Museum opened up in Frisco, Texas, finally. Frisco sounds like a really, really good breakfast meat, by the way.
It sounds like a rash.
Does it?
Got a bad Frisco on the side of my leg.
So if you don't know, these are the guys, the National Video Game Museum. They've been around for like 5-6 years trying to do this, raise money.
They tour, right?
They used to tour it around. They used to go to a few places. Some of the videos I've done that got featured on Game Trailers in the past on the front page.
You and Joey Rue DeCina.
Joey Rue, who I won't throw him under the bus. I won't throw him under the bus, but not for not being to be able to.
You're throwing him under the bus by not throwing him under the bus.
Okay, so anyway, actually, it's an Easter egg in the video. But anyway, we did the we did the Video Game History Museum tour twice at E3. It was like 2011 and 2012, I believe. And these are 3 collectors. And the third name escapes me. His name's John. I interviewed him. But you have Joe Santulli, who used to run Digital Press in New Jersey, which is a great video game, one of the better or best used video game stores I've seen, retro game stores. And then you have Sean Kelly. He's a huge collector. And the third gentleman, name escapes me right now. So sorry. But these are 3 collectors. These are guys in their either late 40s or early 50s. And they've been collecting for like 30 years. They have everything. Everything. They are above the elite collector tier. They are like the museum collector. Because they have the Atari Cosmos.
They sit upon Mount Olympus.
Yes, they have like all the all those like variants of the Atari consoles that never came out, like the 2800 or whatever. They have those things. They have like the Sega Neptune. Like they have those things. They have like the document material of like how to code the systems from the employees. They have all the stuff like the patches that came out, the promo patches, like that we used to sew on your denim jacket in the 80s. All the buttons, all the merchandise. So these are the guys that do it. If they want to do a nonprofit museum, these are the guys who want to do it because they have everything, and they are true collectors. So I mean, there's some pictures online. You can go visit it. I'm proud that this has actually gotten done because you need something like this.
It's not an exhibit within a museum. It is a museum. I mean, the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who can speak to the fact that I've seen it in person at E3, they've done it at the what is it? Classic. They used to do the Classic Game Expo in Vegas. CG. So they've been there. They have the pedigree. They've been collecting since the 80s, probably. Gotten their hands on material that's one of a kind, prototypes. I think I joked in there. The only thing I didn't see was a gold NWC card because they had a gray one. They had everything there. I mean, there's not much more I can say about it. You never saw it in person, but if you remember those videos I did from way back in, then check them out. It's not a plug, but if I'm ever in Texas, I would love to see this.
Yeah, no, I would love to go at some point. I don't know what Frisco's proximity is to Austin. That's the only place I'd ever find myself in Texas because I have friends there.
We can ask Siri, right?
Yeah. What's the proximity, Siri?
There's a setup of a giant. It's great. There's somehow have a giant monitor with a.
I love that. I saw that
TV, like a tube
fake,
TV.
Yeah, it looks like a big fake tube.
And
TV.
they're playing a giant Pong. Who made that? That's insane. How did I miss that the first time I saw the story?
I don't know, but I would sit there all day probably.
like a big wheel and turning it. Get your forearm workout. They have a whole line of all the computers set up.
Gains maintained.
That's right. What was great about this was that it's probably the similar setup to at E3 with the museum is that they'd have like every console set up that you can actually play it with a little placard telling you about the console, the history of it, why it's special.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So it's actually interactive. I would think they would keep that in some way.
Oh, it's a video game museum.
They
have to.
They had the coolest thing ever, which is still one of the coolest things that there's not that many out there. The big Atari computer kiosk display.
Oh yeah,
from like 82 or so.
That's cool.
They even have that there. So check it out if you're in the Texas area. It's a giant. I know it's a giant area. It's a state. It used to be a country for a small while. For a few years. It was a country.
I think it's a third of the country, actually. Right
check it out. Congrats to Joe Santulli and friends for getting this going. And Joe actually retired from the Digital Press store in order to do this. So
nice.